Hello, I'm Carla, your Millionaire Mistress, and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk about what not to do if you want to build long-term wealth, and that is never lend anyone any money. So a couple of things made this topic pop into my mind today. The most recent one is I was talking to a tenant actually, and I said to him, on your bank statements, I can see that despite having an good income, I can see that you've got payments coming into and out, like coming in and going out to the same people every single month. And I said, do you have child maintenance obligations that you're trying to meet? And he was like, no, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I said, well, it obviously looks like you can't live on, and it was a lower rent than we are charging because it was a different location. So I said, it looks like you can't afford your monthly outgoings and that you're borrowing money. And he said, woman, you don't know what you're, African guy, woman, you don't know what you're talking about. Me and my friends just pass money to and from each other. And I'm like, yeah, equals you're borrowing money, right? Because you can't survive without borrowing money every month. So he was a no for us as a tenant. But it prompted me to think of the other people who have asked to borrow money over time. So one was a lady when we were early to mid 20s, and I was always very sensible with money. And also I've never been a big takeaway buyer, and I've never paid for taxis, so that's fine. But this one lady, she was very fat. She was always eating takeaways. And one thing that she said, and just bracket that, I haven't got an issue with fat people because I am myself. It's not a problem. But she would basically ring me and say, oh, Carla, you've got money. She wouldn't even do a hello, how are you? A little bit of fluff first to try and make me feel like, oh, we're friends. Aren't we nice and close? No, she would ring me raw and just say, oh, Carla, you've got some money. Can you pay my phone bill? What? No, I can't. So I was as direct as that. So I said to her, why would I pay your phone bill? And she said, oh, well, because I haven't got any money. I've run up the bill and I need it paid. I was like, not my problem. I said, why don't you stop eating takeaways and then you'll be able to afford to pay your phone bill? Or why don't you just use your phone less? So that's number one. Another example is a chap who was my neighbour for 16 years, and he went through a whole kerfuffle to borrow £3,000, and that kerfuffle included asking me to host a survey on his house because he was trying to put a charge on his house without his wife's knowledge. So he was going to put a second charge, not his mortgage, a second charge on his family home without his wife's knowledge, which means he was going to commit fraud because he was going to have to fake her signature. So he did this whole, hey, would you host a survey for me on my house? And I'm like, oh, I'm working from home. It's over the road. What's going to happen? So I said, yeah, but I don't want to be wandering around your house with a surveyor. And he said, no, my daughter will be in. So I was like, okay, fine. Hosted the survey. So I knew this legitimate man came out to do a survey on the house. And when that guy came out to do the survey on the house, it was obviously for a loan application. And then this chap, the original chap, then was saying basically he needed £3,000 to tide him over, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I was in the middle of buying a house, so I had the cash and he knew I had the cash. And he kept pushing and pushing. So in the end, I said to him, write down your bank details. I'll transfer you the money. I don't need interest. Just make sure it's back before I complete on the house. Because it was either the house purchase money or the refurbishment money. And this is a guy who's always swanning around in like an £80,000 car that clearly he couldn't afford to run. So he borrowed money off me. And there's times when feminism doesn't count. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a girl. You're a grown man who's at least 15 years my senior. And you're so shameful the way you manage your money. You're having to ask a young girl to borrow money. And bear in mind, there's a 2-income household because he works and his wife works. Anyway, the long and the short of it was I exposed the fraud by accident because I went over one day and said to his wife, when are you going to pay me back my £3,000? And she slid down the wall crying, saying, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, well, you should know what you're talking about. And long and short of it was, it ended up with him getting a county court judgment, bailiffs coming, and me having an application ready to put a charge on his house. So, and it was only because I bumped into him in the street, and he was walking towards me, and he was trapped by the parked cars, and I was not in the mood that day. And as he walked towards me, I just looked at him, and he went, oh, babe, oh, it was a house of cards, everything was falling down. And then when I turned around, I realised that all his friends were sitting in the car. So he couldn't afford for me to kick off and say, where's my £3,000, you dirty little rat, where's my money? And he was like, oh, here, put your bank details in my phone. Oh, yeah, I'll give you the money back. And his friends were literally there, so I could have just gone and said, he's a loser, he hasn't got any money, he was borrowing money off a young woman because he couldn't afford to run his lifestyle that he was pretending. Anyway, that was solved. He did give me the money back. Then the other day, I had another chap who I know. He never, maybe we speak to each other every few months. And he kept calling me and I kept missing his call. Not intentionally, I was just always busy. So I thought, if I can't pay you full attention because I'm in the middle of something, I would rather not answer your phone call and then wait and call you back when I can give you 100% of my attention. And only because personally, I hate it if I ring someone and they're blatantly talking to someone else in the background. It's just rude. So anyway, this other chap rang me. I've known him for, I don't know, 10 years. And all the way through the conversation, no matter how I steered the conversation to say, hey, how are you? How's so-and-so? How's so-and-so? How's this getting on? How's that getting on? It kept coming back to, this is passive aggressive requesting money. The other people in my life just go, can you lend me this much money? Including one loser who said to me, oh, can you lend me £300,000? What? Well, you think I'm just sitting around with £300,000 that I'm going to give some random? No. Anyway, so this chap kept ringing me, and he said, oh, he kept making it sound like his house and everything that he owned, his business, everything was going to collapse and it's impending doom and, oh my God, everything's going to fall apart. That's what he kept saying. Everything's going to fall apart. Everything's going to fall apart if I don't have £3,000. They've got a thing about £3,000. Then the next thing was, by the end of the call, because I kept saying, I'm going now, I've just arrived home, blah, 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 I'm just going in to do whatever. And I was out driving. And then he said again, yeah. Oh, well, I could probably just do with £2,000. And I said to him, well, have you asked your bank to use your overdraft? Yeah, they won't give me one. Okay, red flag number one. Have you thought about putting it on a credit card? No, I can't put it on the credit card because I'm already maxed out. Red flag number two. So if huge multi-billion pound organisations are refusing and think this man is a credit risk, why would I give him £2,000? Why would I even give him 50 quid? No. If you're my neighbour and I'm like, oh, I think you need some shopping for the kids, that's fine. I'll go and buy the shopping for the kids. But I'm not giving you money. Oh, and an even better one is previously I lent £500 to someone, and that was back in the day when there were cheques, and I wrote a cheque for £250 and I gave the person £250 cash. So that was the £500 loan. I didn't worry about, oh, I need a big written agreement because I knew the person well. Anyway, within a week, because they kept saying, I need food for my kid, I need food for my kid. Within a week, I thought, it's funny how people are ringing off your phone when they want to borrow money, but when they've got the money, they disappear. It's like ghost 10,000. So I remember ringing the person, and when I rang the person, magically, I got an international dial tone. So my £500 that I had given them, they just went to Spain. So don't trust anyone with your cash. Assume everyone is a lying dog financially, not generally as human beings. But if money is concerned, assume everyone is a lying dog and do not lend them your money. I don't mean don't buy your mum some shopping or don't buy a treat for your friend. What I mean is when someone is asking you for a wad of cash, assume that the reason they're telling you they need it is a lie and assume that they've had more fun than you've had, which is why they need the money and haven't managed their money well. And I think I'll leave that there for now. So rules of the game. If you wish to be financially successful, do not give anyone your money. That's it. That's it. Doesn't matter if they say, oh, it's only till Friday and I'll give you back twice. No, that means they're an even bigger risk. Do not give people your money. That's it.